pop your feet onto the blocks once you lie down. And then before we start to move, you guys can lie down. I'm going to stay up actually for a second just to make sure that you are all familiar with where we're going. As you come down, keep that little space between the inner thighs. You've got the tall ones there. I'll just give you this. I'll give you two options and you can choose which one you want then. You might want the extra challenge, Mary, but
I don't think so. I was thinking, under, I think. Okay.
Yes, at the start anyway, that's where we're going to go. Are they feeling okay? All right. So as you come down, we're bringing our hands into our little Pilates compass, and it comes to touch, our first fingers to touch and bring that onto your pelvis. The heels of the hands rest onto the hip bones, the fingers rest down to your pubic bone. And we're going to take a couple of tilts forward and back of the pelvis. As we tilt the pelvis backwards, we're noticing that the lower back melts onto the mat, the hip bones go lower than the pubic bone. As we tilt the pelvis forwards, the hip bones come higher than the pubic bone and the lower back lifts off the mat. So a few more times, just tilting nice and gently forward and back. Get some movement in the lower back and into the pelvis. And then we're going to try and find a neutral central position where the hip bones and the pubic bone feel like they're flat in one plane. They should feel flat underneath the hands, and that is where we're going to try and keep the pelvis as we lie on our back. But we're going to try and keep it neutral throughout the class, but it's just easier to notice it when we're on our back. So you should have pressure in the sacrum against the mat, just at the back of the pelvis. There should be a gentle little lift in the lower back, so just a little bit of space there. And then we're going to take our arms, bring the upper arms and the elbows to rest on your mat, bring the hands to the side of the body. Your thumb is on your 10th rib, your first or second finger is on your hip bones. And we're just doing a couple of breaths here to find our rib to hip connection. So we're breathing into the side and the back of the ribs, pressing against the mat. Exhale then as you draw those ribs down towards the hips, really engaging the belly. We're going for that 2 more times. Inhale into the side and the back of the ribs, trying not to flare the front of the ribs. Exhale as you draw the ribs down towards the hips. 1 more time. Inhaling into the side and the back of the ribs, press the back against the mat. Exhale, then draw those ribs down towards the hips. So that is where we want to keep the rib to hip connection at the front of the body. The belly is engaged. We're also pressing a little bit more into the mat with our rib cage and with the sacrum now. So we're feeling both of that, those parts of the body really connected to the mat, really solid there. And then we're going to just gently notice that our shoulders are relaxed and open, relaxing the shoulder blades on the mat behind us. A little lift of the head to tuck the chin just slightly towards your chest. And we're wanting to keep a little space between the chin and the chest, almost like a little peach in there. We're trying not to squash that peach, but we do want to think about the length at the back of the neck. Okay, so we're going to start with a couple of rounds of bridge. We're going to go for 4 nice gentle lifts and lowers out of bridge with our feet on the blocks. That's just giving us a little bit more elevation. And then we're going to work into the bridges after those first 4 rounds. So 4 rounds just to move the spine a little bit. So I forgot to mention arms alongside you on the mat, palms are facing down. Take an inhale then to prepare, and as you exhale, peel your spine off the mat, lifting through the pelvis, resting on your shoulder blades at the top. Take an inhale, and then exhale, slowly bring the spine back down. Nice and controlled, moving through the spine as we lift and lower. Inhale, exhale, lift your pelvis, peel your spine off the mat. Resting on the shoulder blades, squeeze the glutes, lift the hips a little higher, take an inhale, exhale, slowly bring the spine back down, 1 vertebrae at a time if you can, and the pelvis comes down, the lower back lifts. 2 more of those. Inhale, exhale, tilt your pelvis, peel your body off the mat, all the way up into bridge. Inhale, exhale, slowly coming back down with control, nice and slow. Last one like that. Take an inhale. Exhale, slowly lifting and rolling the body off the mat. Inhale at the top, exhale, slowly coming back down. Okay, if you want a little moment for movement, you can windshield wiper the knees or hook the knees into the chest. We've got 2 more of those styles, but this time we're going to take a pause at the top of our bridge and we're going to work into a little bit more alignment. So the spine getting nice and mobile now after those first 4 rounds. So 2 last sets of bridge. When you're ready, take an inhale, exhale, tilt your pelvis, peel your body off the mat, still resting on the shoulder blades, but we're pausing here at the top. Just keep breathing. You want to squeeze the inner thighs towards each other, press your kneecaps forwards towards the front of the room. Squeeze the glutes, lift the hips a little higher, press your belly button back towards your spine. Take an inhale, exhale, slowly bring the body back down. Keep that control of the body as we lower back down one more time. Inhale, exhale, coming up into your bridge, holding at the top, breathing there. Squeeze those inner thighs again towards each other, activate the legs a little bit more. As you press the kneecaps forward, you'll notice that the hip flexors at the front of the hip open a little bit more. Squeeze those glutes and lift the hips just a little bit higher. Ribs down towards your hips and belly button back towards your spine. Open through the shoulders, reach the fingers down towards your feet. Take an inhale and then exhale, slowly come back down. Okay, one more time to have a little bit of movement. Windshield wiper the knees or hug the knees into the chest. So this time we're going to go up into bridge and we're going to use this little elevation, extra elevation that we have underneath the feet, and we're going to come to some hip dips. So hip dips just mean that we're dipping the hips down to the mat. The pelvis can touch the mat or it can just hover above the mat, and then we squeeze the glutes to lift them back up. So it's just a dip of the hips and a squeeze to lift back up. For this one, if you've been here for a few weeks, you might like to add a little bit of extra instability into the body. You might like to lift the arms straight up out of the shoulders, reach the fingers towards the sky, or you can have the arms still on the mat beside you. So, you can make a choice as you're moving through the rounds. If you want to raise the hands at the start and then bring them back down, you have that option as well. Okay, when you're ready, take an inhale, exhale, coming up into your bridge first. Make sure you've got all those little alignment cues now. Squeeze the inner thighs towards each other, kneecaps forward, squeeze the glutes, lift the hips, belly still engaged, pressing your belly button back, ribs down towards your hips. If you want to add the lifted arms, you're raising them straight up out of the shoulders. Keep your shoulder blades flat on the mat for that extra bit of stability and that nice length in the back of the neck. Body is nice and engaged here. When you're ready, then you're dipping the hips down towards the mat and then slowly squeeze the glutes and lift the hips back up. Dipping down towards the mat, lifting all the way back up. Really squeeze the glutes at the top to get a nice bit of extra elevation. And because we're on those blocks, we've got a little bit more distance to touch down to the mat and a little bit more to lift up. Nice and slow and controlled. Keep all of those things active. The inner thighs are still active. The kneecaps are pressing forward, especially as we come to the top of our bridge. Keep pressing your belly button back towards the spine. Keep the belly engaged, but keep breathing. We're lifting and lowering for 5 more. For 4 more. For 3. Last 2. Last 1. When you come to the top, slowly lower the arms if you had them raised. Take an inhale and then exhale. Slowly bring the body back down. We never want to collapse the body down to the ground out of a bridge. Always take your time. Okay, hug the knees in or windshield wiper, whatever you need. We're not quite done with our bridges just yet. We're nearly at the end. We've just got 2 last things to do here. So feet back on the blocks whenever you're ready. Find your alignment again, arms on the mat just for the moment. Turn the palms face down. Lengthen through the back of the neck. If we've been doing a bit of movement, we might have readjusted that alignment. Make sure we're nice and engaged. Okay, so this time when we come up, we're staying in our bridge, in the high bridge, and then we're opening the knees and then bringing them back to parallel. So it's just an open, drop them as low as feels comfortable and bring them back into parallel. And when we're opening the legs, just be careful that the hips don't start to dip down. We want to keep the hips nice and lifted, and we're just controlling that movement with the legs opening and closing. Again, the arms can be on the mat for that extra stability, or if you want that little bit of extra challenge tonight, they can be raised towards the sky. All right, when you're ready, take an inhale, exhale all the way up into your bridge first. Adjust all your little alignment cues, make sure everything is nice and engaged. Arms staying on the mat, reaching the fingers down towards your feet, or raising the arms, bringing the hands towards the sky. And then we are keeping the hips lifted, open the knees, bring them back to parallel. Opening the knees and back to parallel. Nice and slow and controlled. We're staying uplifted in our bridge. Squeezing those glutes, keeping the hips nice and high. Just an opening and a closing, that's it. Remember all the other little bits now as well. Keep pressing the belly button back, keep pressing your rib cage down towards the hips. Keep squeezing those glutes, pressing those kneecaps forward. Nice and long through the neck, open through the shoulders, press the shoulder blades down against the mat. The more active we can be through the body as we move our legs, the more stable we'll feel, and the more of those small muscles that we're activating right throughout the body. Last 5. Last 4. Keep breathing. Last 3. Last 2. Last 1. All right, back to the center. Lower the arms if we have them raised. Take an inhale, exhale, slowly coming back down. All right, last little bit of movement here. We're going to our last one on our back. I think that one, that opening and closing of the legs, I think that's where I was feeling it yesterday after the class. I messaged Kevin and I was like, are you feeling stiff in your legs after that? After doing those this morning, and he said, yes, I do. Okay. So this time we're just reaching for one block, popping it between our inner thighs or between the knees. We're just going to work into the obliques on our back here before we start to move out of our back lying position. So the obliques are the little, or well, they're not little muscles, there's 2 sets of them. They're outer obliques and inner obliques. They run between your ribs and your hips on the outside of your torso. So they're going to kind of help to stabilize our abdominals, I suppose. There's abdominals at the front, but those obliques are also part of the abdominal set. So we're going to bring our legs to tabletop from here. So stacking your knees over your hips, point the toes or flex the feet just for a bit of extra engagement of the legs. Arms can stay on the mat alongside you just for that extra bit of support. And then this time we're just dropping the knees towards the side and bringing the legs back to center. So we're trying to keep our rib cage on the mat. This is just a twist from the base of the ribs down to the pelvis. Really the pelvis is doing the movement, but the obliques are the part that are lowering the body to the side and then drawing the body back up. So lowering the legs just as much as feels comfortable, where you can maintain the ribs on the mat. Back to center, nice and slow, lowering and lifting. Okay, looking great everybody. Let's go for 3 more on this side. 3 more on this side. Last 2. Last 2. Last 1. Last 1. All right. Slowly bring the feet back down to the mat. Remove the block. You can leave it to the side. And just take a little bit of movement. Last little bit of movement here on your back. Hug the knees in, windshield wiper, or if you feel like it, a nice full body stretch might be in order, either reaching the fingers towards the top of your mat, your toes reaching in the opposite direction, stretching all of the body out. That one does feel quite good after that. Okay, from lying on our back we're going to go to lying on our side. So you can just all keep your head where it is, keep your feet where they are, and roll to face the door. Oops, Daisy, sorry Stephen, threw that at you. The block in this one could be helpful if you want to be on your forearm. I'll give you the few different options for setup, but if you've been here for a little while and you want to try that forearm setup, where the forearm is flat on the mat, the elbows underneath the shoulder, the block underneath the rib cage just helps to keep that awareness. We're not really resting our body down. We don't want the sagging to happen. We want to be lifted, but if you just need it for a little bit of awareness, trying to keep it just under the ribs so that it helps you there. Or if you're not feeling like you want to be on the arm, like up on the elbow, you can have the arm extended, just rest the head down onto your upper arm, and that can just be flat on the mat. Just like this. I'll just do it standing so you can see me better. So you can be like this either. And then both legs are going to be bent. So we'll bring both legs towards the front of the mat. We're trying to find alignment of our shoulder, our hip and our ankles when we line our body up rather, and our legs quite far forward. Toes together and feet together, knees together to start us off. And then we're starting with some clams. So we're just lifting that top knee and lowering it back down. Lifting and lowering. Both legs are bent. Sorry, I can't do that. I can't do it when I'm standing. But I'm emulating it. Okay. Lifting and lowering. So we want to keep the pelvis stacked. We're not rolling to open the pelvis. We want to keep the pelvis facing forward. This movement is just happening the thigh bone in our hip socket. Lifting and lowering. Okay. Point the toes or flex the feet for a little bit of extra activation through all of the leg. No, you're okay. Knees more forward and feet just there. That's it. Or more alignment. It's harder for you guys to see it, so sometimes just a little adjustment. Okay, looking great. Stacked here, and then lift and lower through the leg. That's as far as you go. You're not going to roll into the body, you're just moving the leg. Is that feel okay? Alright, perfect. Last 5 and 4, 3, last 2, last 1. Alright, relax the top leg, massage it out, shake it out, whatever you might need to do. Sometimes just shaking it feels nice as well. Alright, we're going to add on to that clam. Before I do that, are we feeling okay? I know I said we wanted to be a bit cooler in here, but is it getting too cold? No, we're okay? Okay. Just let me know if it is. As I know we'll get too hot in a second. Alright, this time we are opening that top knee, extending the leg long, bring the feet to touch, and bring the knees to touch. So open your knee, extend the leg, feet touch, knees touch. We got it? Open, extend, feet touch, knees touch. Well done. There you go. Open, extend, feet touch, knees touch. Okay, keeping the pelvis nice and steady, keep the belly engaged, keep pressing your belly button back towards your spine, nice and stable through the body. Then you might find a bit more stability in the legs. There you go. You got it now. So keeping this part engaged as well. Alright, let's go for our last few here. We're feeling the burn. Last 3, extend, feet touch, knees touch. Last 2, extend, feet touch, knees touch. Last 1, extend, feet touch, knees touch. Okay, relax it out, tap it out. That's the end of the hip work. We're just going to work into the leg a little bit more. We're not doing that rotation of the hip anymore, so we get a little rest. Okay, the top leg is going to come to about hip height now, so we're just lifting it away from the lower leg so it doesn't get any chance to rest. And this is one of our classical Pilates moves. We're taking our toe forward and our heel back. So toe forward, heel back. Almost like it's a paintbrush, that leg. So you want to move nice and slowly. Lock out your knee if you can. And keep the leg nice and long. As you press the leg back, really try and press your leg back along the back line of your mat. Activate the hamstrings and the glutes as you press the leg back. So toe forward, heel back. Even taking a little pause as you press it back and really activate the back line of the leg. I'm going to take that lower leg a little bit more bent for you for a bit more stability. Yeah, there you go. And keeping that, again, just keep that nice and stable. So we're trying not to tilt the body, we're just using the leg. That's it. Let's see if we can get a little bit further back without doing the body. Keep this nice and stacked. Yeah, that's the challenge. So mat Pilates is all about finding stability in the body and challenging that by moving the limbs, arms or legs. Alright, so last 3, sweeping forward, heel back, last 2, and back, last 1, and back. Alright, relax the leg, tap it out, massage it out, anything you need to do. Alright, last 1. We're going to just work into, I did say we weren't working into the hip anymore, but we're just going to work into the hip flexor and the glutes and hamstrings at the back just to give them just a last bit of attention. So the leg is staying at about hip height. We're flexing the foot for this one. If you've been here before, you know this one. Knee into your chest and extend the leg long. Sometimes it's handier to bring the hand onto the hip for this one just for a bit more space at the front of the mat. Knee into your chest, extend it long. As you extend it, still pressing into the heel, pressing the back line of the leg, press it back towards the back line of the mat if you can. Really great, everybody. That's it. That's looking good, Mary. Into your chest, and then we're going to extend it down here. So let me get that working here. You feel it now? Yeah, that's it. No problem. Down there, that's it, lovely. If you want to bend this lower knee a little bit more, it might be a bit more stable for you. There you go. I need to do my consent cards because Pilates is quite hands-on sometimes. So apologies for touching your bodies, but sometimes it's just quite necessary to make sure no one gets injured. Alright, knee to your chest, extend it long, last 2, knee to the chest, extend, last 1, knee to the chest, and extend. Alright, relax the leg, tap it out, massage it out. If you want to roll onto your back for a moment and do a little bit of movement, you're welcome to. And we're going to do the other leg And if you are new here as well, when I'm doing these sideline ones, if I have to go and adjust somebody, sometimes we might end up doing a few extra reps. And also Pilates teachers don't really count, so that's a little secret. But if it's feeling too much, just always take a break and maybe join me. I'll do a last countdown, either 5 or 3, depending on what we're doing. And you can always just join us for those last few to count down to the end. So don't feel you have to keep going always, but you know, if you want the challenge, it's always there for you. All right, rolling on to the other side. We'll stack the legs again in that bent knee position. Both knees together, both ankles together. Hips stacked one on top of the other. We can be on our arm, or we can be on our forearm. Forearm, if we're using the forearm, maybe the block under the rib for that little bit of extra weight.
More difficult.
The forearm is more difficult. What we're actually working towards, we're kind of building ourselves up gradually. But in full Pilates setup, you're like this, and you're doing everything like in this, but you're on your elbows.
Oh, on the elbow.
And you're lifting through the side of the body. So this is actually like, it's very hard to keep the body stable. So that's why we do it gradually. We start here, then the arm comes here, it's a little bit more stable, and then I take you to here. You see when you try and take the hands fully away from the mat, you don't have that extra anchor. So that's what we're working towards, but we're not quite there yet. So forearm on the mat is a little step up from your arm being extended. Both legs are bent again, Harper. And we're doing our clams to start us off. Knees together, feet together, point the toes or flex the feet. And we're lifting through the top knee and lowering back down. Hips are staying stacked, pelvis is staying neutral. We're engaging the belly button back towards your spine. Keep breathing as you lift and lower. Control of the body doesn't mean that we hold the breath. It just means that we're engaging everything, but we should be able to still keep our breath flowing even if we're engaging all the muscles. That is an important part of it. So lifting and lowering, that's it. Nice and slow, we're not trying to rush it. I didn't spot that you had the higher blocks as well. You were working much harder in those bridges. Sorry about that, I didn't spot it at the start. Okay, last 5, last 4, last 3, last 2, last 1. Alright, relax the leg, tap it out, shake it out, massage it out. We're adding in that little extension now this time for our clams. So legs are still staying bent. We're opening the knee, extend the leg long, feet touch, knees touch. Open, extend, feet touch, knees touch. We got it? Open, extend, feet touch, knees touch. Getting a nice rotation in our hip. Extend, feet touch, knees touch. Remember, point the toe or flex the foot. Get last little bit of those extra muscles working. When we keep every part of our limb active, then we're working all little small extra muscles. Same thing if we're doing any arm work, we're always trying to activate all of the muscles involved. Okay, last 3. I'm Irish, I like to talk, sorry. Last 2. Bringing it down. Last 1. Extend, feet touch, knees touch. Okay, relax the leg, tap it out, massage it out, shake it out. Right, our little paintbrush is next. So our leg is coming up to hip height, away from the lower leg, and then we're sweeping the toe forward, heel to come back. Lower leg can still stay bent for that extra support in the mat. Toe forward, heel back. You got it? Yeah. And as we come back, we're trying to press into the back of the heel. So it looks like this. Nice and strong and stable. Toe forward, heel back. Lock out your knee if you can. Even taking that little moment of pause as you press the leg back. No movement of the body, just the thigh bone in your hip socket. Forward and back. As you can imagine, trying to do this one. It's a lot more work. Oh God, I can't even do it tonight. It's not there today. Okay. Alright, let's go for our last 3. Last 2. Last 1. Alright. Relax the leg, tap it out, shake it out. Last one we're doing is our knee to our chest and extending the leg long, just working to the back of the leg just the last little bit, and those hip flexors at the front. If you want to take the hand to your waist or you could bring it behind you if that feels comfortable as well. Lower leg is still bent for that extra stability. Leg is at about hip height. Knee in towards your chest, flex your foot, and extend the leg long, press into the heel. Knee into your chest as much as you can, take as forward towards your chest as you can. Heel down towards the back of the mat. Activating those glutes and hamstrings. Knee in, extend the leg long, that's it. Try and keep the body stable. This work is still just happening in our leg. Thigh bone in our hip socket. That's it. Activating all those muscles. Flex the foot just a little bit more. Really press into the heel as you extend it long. Last 3. Last 2. Last 1. Alright, relax the leg. Tap it out, shake it out, massage it out. I think I'm on a bit of a mission for hamstrings to be nice and strong at the moment. If you want to roll onto your back for a moment, you're welcome to. Take a little breather, a little bit of movement or a little stretch. But hamstrings, they're something that I think a lot of people are misunderstanding about their bodies. Just on a personal note, I'm not a physical therapist, I'm not a physio, but from my own body's understanding, I used to think that my hamstrings were just really tight, but I've really learned that they were just very weak and they just weren't strong enough to be doing a lot of the things I need them to do. So I've been really trying to work on hamstring strength, and obviously there's machines at the gym and all the things that you can do, hamstring curls and all of that, but a lot of these ones we can do without using any extra weight. We can use our body weight, we can use our body resistance, and they're really simple, and even sometimes you're like, is it even really doing the work? But in reality, if you're doing these often enough, it's just Kevin, don't worry. If you're doing these often enough and you're just doing a few at a time, they really do make a big difference to the hamstring strength. So I'd recommend doing them often if you can. As you saw there as well, I can do them standing, so it doesn't mean that, or it means that you can do them standing too if you're cooking at home or standing around waiting for, I don't know, anything to happen. Just do a little standing version. You don't have to come down to lying. Just try and keep the body awareness to keep that stability in the body. So when we're standing, we're not doing a lot of rocking and rolling of the body. We're just trying to keep that stability, and we're just getting that nice bit of work into the hamstrings. Okay, my little TED talk and preaching over. We're going to come up to the seat whenever you're ready. There's no rush. We'll take one block in our hands as well as we come up. And we're going to do a little bit of seated work. And the block is just going to be in our hands for these ones for a little bit more awareness of our arm positioning and our shoulders. We're going to be starting with spine stretch, but I'm just going to make sure that everyone is in their positioning before we start to use the block. So the feet are about hip width apart, just coming straight down from your hips. You could run a finger from your second or third toe through your kneecap and down to your hip bones if you want to check that they're hip width apart. Just a little Pilates trick we do. We're going to flex the feet, and we're going to keep the legs nice and active when we're sitting like this. We want to be sitting up onto our sit bones. We're still drawing those ribs down towards the hips, so when we sit up, we're not flaring the ribs forward, we're not dumping into the lower back. We want to keep everything engaged. Keep pressing your belly button back towards your spine, shoulders nice and broad, and your shoulder blades are still sitting flat on the mat. And we're still, flat on your back. I've said that twice this week. They're not on the mat when we're sitting up at all. They're just on our back. We're keeping our neck nice and long, still keeping that little tuck of our chin, but not any closer than that little peach underneath the chin. So in spine stretch, we're rounding from the bottom of the rib cage to the top of the head. So the lower part of the spine and the legs are staying nice and static and staying in place. We're going to have the block in our hands, but we're going to be reaching and rounding through the spine, reaching forward, and then we exhale to roll ourselves all the way back up. The block tonight is just going to give us that awareness of reaching forward a little bit more, pressing into the block as we press it forward, maybe pressing the block between our hands as well, just to activate through the arms a little bit more. So with the arms out extended, the shoulder blades are still on the back. They're not reaching forward yet. Keep the belly engaged, keep the shoulders relaxed. And we're going to do 4 of these spine stretches. Legs are still active as well, don't forget about them. Inhale, and then exhale, reach forward, round through the top of the back, lengthen through your crown of your head. Inhale, and exhale, we restack all the way back up to a nice tall seat. We're going for 3 more. Inhale, exhale, reach and round. Inhale at the top, exhale, restack. Always moving on the exhales. 2 more. Inhale, Exhale, reach and round, reach that block forward, reach the crown of the head forward, inhale, exhale, restack, last one, inhale, exhale, reach and round, inhale, exhale, restack. All right, let the block down for a moment. You might like to shake the body out a little bit. In between, in contemporary Pilates, I like to give people a little moment to reset the bodies. In Joseph Pilates' time, he didn't give you much of a chance. It was just from one exercise into the other. But I think it's helpful because it helps you to reset for the next one. So a little bit of a breather in between. We're going to be coming to C-curve next. The legs can be bent for this one, or they can be flat on the mat. You have two options. You're always welcome to change between those setups as well as we move through them. C-curve is where we curve from the top of the head to the tailbone. So we make a C shape with our back. We roll back as far as we can. We pause, we inhale, and then we restack the body, coming all the way up to that tall seat again. So again, the block is going to be in our hands for this first set. We're just rolling back to that curve, coming back up for this first set of 4, and then we're going to add in a little twist on our second set. So relax the shoulders, engage the belly, ribs down towards your hips, shoulder blades still flat on our back. We're not reaching them too far forward, just keep them relaxed at the back of the body. Again, we're just keeping that awareness of the arms with the block in that shoulder width apart, and maybe pressing into the block just a little bit more for that activation. Legs still active, don't forget about them. Inhale, exhale, round through the spine, roll back as far as you can, take that pause, inhale, and then exhale, restack, thinking about restacking the spine from the lower back all the way up to the crown of the head. 3 more. Inhale, exhale, round through the spine, tilting the pelvis as you roll back. Inhale, exhale, restack, pelvis comes into alignment, spine, shoulders, neck and head. 2 more. Inhale, exhale, roll back. Inhale, exhale, restack. Lovely. 1 more. Inhale, exhale, round and roll. Inhale, exhale, restack. Okay, let the block down for a moment, take the body out. You're glad I said about the cooler temperature now, I'd say. Feeling warm? Are we okay? Alright, so we're going to add in a little curve, a little twist in our curve. So if you, I think personally it's a little bit easier with the legs bent for this one. You're welcome to try it with the legs straight as well. I just think it adds a little bit of extra stability for me, but listen to your body as well. So I'll just do one demonstration and then we'll all do it together. So we're starting in that same position, legs bent or straight. We curve and roll back, and then we take an inhale here, exhale, twist, inhale, return, exhale, twist, inhale, return, and then exhale as we come all the way back up. I had to think about the breath there for a second. Always moving on our exhales, okay? So sitting up nice and tall, we're going to go for 3 of these with the twist. We're twisting both directions each time. Take your inhale, exhale, curve, roll back, inhale, exhale, twist, inhale, center, exhale, twist, inhale, center, exhale, come all the way back up. We got it? Okay, 2 more. Inhale, exhale, roll back, inhale, exhale, twist, inhale, center, exhale, twist, inhale, center, exhale, all the way back up. Last one. Inhale, exhale, roll back, inhale, exhale, twist, inhale, center, exhale, twist, inhale, center, exhale, come all the way back up. All right, drop the block again, shake it out. I was starting to feel those little Pilates shakes at the end of that one. Are you feeling it in the body? Okay, so we're going to go for a couple of roll downs next. Roll downs are combining our C-curve with our spine stretch. So I prefer to do a roll down with my legs flat on the mat, my feet pointed, for a little bit of extra stability on the mat, a little bit more anchoring. The block is actually a nice addition in this one because it brings your awareness to your arms a little bit more and helps you to take the tension out of your chest, which can help you to roll up a little bit better. So I'll just do one again so that we're all on the same page with our roll downs. So the arms are out in front. We start in that same seated position. We're doing that C curve. We're creating that C with our body. We're rolling down. This time we roll all the way down though. And as the head reaches the mat, the arms touch the mat above us. We take an inhale, take our hands to the sky, And then we exhale, start to reach with that block forward, come all the way back up to a seat. Inhale here, and then we exhale, spine stretch. Inhale, exhale, restack. We're going to go for 4 if we can. If they're feeling too much after 1, and if you can't get your body back off the mat, come back to your C curves, just coming to here, take your inhale, exhale, coming back up, and then add your spine stretch and come back to a seat. All right, so you have 2 different options. And again, you could try it with the legs bent if you think it's helping you better, but for on the way down, maybe the legs bent is okay. Coming back up, it might be a little harder with the legs bent, but be my guest to try it if it feels better for you. All right, active through the legs, active through the arms, sitting up nice and tall. Take your inhale, exhale, C curve with the spine, curving and rolling with as much control as you can, rolling all the way down, head is down, reach the arms to the mat. Inhale, take the hands to the sky. Exhale, coming up, reach forward with that block, coming up to seated. Take your inhale, exhale, spine stretch. Inhale, exhale, restack. All right, 3 more if we can. Inhale, exhale, rolling down, nice and controlled, all the way down. I'm just going to watch you. Head is down, arms reach overhead. Inhale, hands to the sky. Exhale, start to peel the body up, coming up nice and slowly. Try and take the body 1 vertebrae at a time off the mat. Lovely. Up to a seat. Take your inhale. Exhale, spine stretch. Inhale. Exhale, restack. If we've got 2 more, we're going for another one. Inhale. Exhale, rolling down. Nice and controlled. Take it as slow as you can. If you've been here for a few weeks, that's your challenge, is to go slower. Inhale, hands to the sky. Exhale, coming up, all the way up to your seat. Inhale, exhale, spine stretch. Inhale, and exhale, back to seat. Last time, inhale. Exhale, rolling down. All the way down, head is down, arms come to the mat. Inhale, take your hands to the sky. Exhale, coming all the way up to your seat. Inhale, exhale, spine stretch. Inhale, and exhale, restack. Okay, drop the block, relax the legs, relax the arms. There was a time when I couldn't talk while I was doing that, so you know, it comes with practice. Just take a little bit of compassion and grace for your body, because it's doing a lot of hard work in that one, so don't rush it. All right, just a sip of water to keep my mouth from drying up. Thinking of our last seated one. We're going to come to a little leg lift. The block can be to the side now, we don't need it for this one. This is our last seated one, and then we're going to come down to our bellies. So we're coming to either reverse tabletop or reverse plank in this one. This is reverse leg pull. The fingers can be facing out to the sides behind us, or if you like it, you can bring the fingers towards the feet. That's a little bit more uncomfortable, but you know, some people prefer it. So whichever option feels better. In yoga, we're always instructed to do it this way, but Pilates, there's not so many rules of that type anyway. So we're either coming up to reverse plank, where we're lifting up here. We're keeping our gaze, I like to say, between the corner where the wall meets the ceiling, because that's kind of diagonal away from our bodies. And when we're in this position, we're lifting through the legs and we're keeping the body nice and lifted. We're going to do it all together in a second. I'm just going to give you a second option in case anyone isn't able to do that one. We're coming to a reverse tabletop as your other option, keeping the hips nice and lifted, and it's just an extension of the leg from here, kicking the leg straight out from the hip. All right, so you've got 2 different choices. We're going to be holding up our pelvis and kicking our legs for a count of 8, and then we'll slowly come back down. So whenever you're ready, come to your reverse plank or your reverse tabletop, and then keep breathing here, but we're lifting through the legs for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Slowly come back down. All right. 8 doesn't sound like many, but when we're doing it, it's enough. Okay, take a little moment. We're going to come all the way down onto the belly whenever you're ready. So we've got a few to do on our belly. We'll keep 1 block in front of our mat actually, because we'll use it for swimming in a moment, but we're going to start with swan dive. So as you come down onto your front, making sure your alignment matches again. So when we were lying on our back, we were keeping our awareness from our ribs to our hips. So keep that rib to hip connection at the front of the body. What that means is that when we lie down, we often flare through our ribs to lift our chest. We don't want that to happen now. We want to bring our nose just to hover above the mat. So we're really thinking about the front of the body contracting a little bit more. That rib down towards the hips. The pelvis is in that neutral position again. The hip bones and the pubic bone are pressing down towards the mat as much as possible. We're feeling no tension in the lower back. The glutes are kind of relaxed at the moment until we engage the legs. The hands and arms for swan dive, or swan dive prep as we're doing tonight. We're bringing the hands underneath our shoulders, elbows drawing in next to the ribs. Keep the shoulders away from the ears though, and keep that neck nice and long. Obviously you can lift the head while I'm demonstrating if you need to look up, but once we start the movement, the gaze comes back down towards the mat. So just to adjust the legs a little bit as well before we come into it, we're rolling the heels towards the center of our mat, or I like to say the inner seam of your leggings or shorts rolls inwards, and our big toes come towards the outer edges of the mat. Point the toes or flex the feet here just to keep the legs nice and active. The legs aren't involved in swan dive, but we still want them to be active on the mat. Okay, so swan dive looks a little bit like cobra if you're a yogi. We're lifting up into the high lift. You can have the elbows bent, or the arms can start to be extended. Just lifting as far as feels comfortable for you. Really trying to think about abdominal engagement, so pressing your belly button back towards the spine. Trying to have as little pain or tension in the lower back. We will feel a little bit of engagement in the lower back, but no pain there. Okay, we're moving on our exhales. Take your inhale. Exhale as you lift the head, lift the chest, looking up. Take your gaze forward. Inhale at the top. Exhale, slowly coming back down. I forgot the little analogy. There's a little marble under your nose. You're trying to roll that up the wall as you come up. So inhale and exhale. Roll the marble up the wall in front of you. Inhale. Exhale, slowly coming back down. Think about the abdominals for these last two lifts. Inhale, exhale, lift and roll that marble forward. Inhale, exhale, slowly coming back down, nice and controlled all the way back down. Last one, inhale, exhale, lift, roll that marble, press the belly button back. Inhale, exhale, slowly come back down. All right, all the way down to the mat. Stack the hands, bend the legs, maybe windshield wiper the legs, just for a few moments. All right, next one we're going to do, I feel like that block is very close to my face, is single leg kick. So you can stay here with the body resting on the mat, and we're doing this action with our legs. So it's a heel to the glute for 2 pulses, lower the leg, heel to the glute, down. That's the action with the legs. Body can be here, as I said, or if you want a little bit more activity, just tuck my t-shirt so you can see. The forearms are on the mat. Elbows are drawing in underneath our shoulders. We're lifting our chest, our pelvis, and the top of our thighs off the mat. We're just resting just above our knees. So the body is nice and active. Everything is engaged. Our rib cage is down towards our hips, shoulders are away from the ears. And then it's still a heel to the glute and a heel to the glute. Okay, a little bit more work on those hamstrings. Heel in, that's it. Flex the foot when you bring the heel in. Keep the leg nice and active. Keep breathing. If you're in the lifted position and it starts to feel too much to maintain it, just gently lower the body down, keep kicking through the heels, and just finish out the set with the body on the mat. All right, let's go for 3 more on this side. 3 more on this side. 2. Last 2. Last 1. Last 1. All right, lower the body down if you were lifted. Take a few breaths there. Maybe windshield wiper the legs again if that feels good. We're going to come to double leg stretch as well. Or double leg kick, sorry, double leg kick. That's the same basically as our single leg kick that we've just done there. With the legs, except the legs are moving together, so it's 2 heels in this time and lower the legs back down, 2 heels and lower back down. So our options for the upper body, there's just one extra option for double leg kick. You can be here, just working the legs. You can be here, working the legs. And then our third option for a little bit more challenge is where we interlace the hands on the lower back, heels come in, legs come down, upper body lifts. Heels come in, legs go down, upper body lifts. Okay, so you have 3 different options, whichever one feels good for you. Heels to the glutes, lower down, lifting if you're coming into the harder version. Heels to the glutes, lower, lift. Harder to talk as I lift. Okay. And you can move through any levels as the body needs. We're going to go for 5 more. Last 4. Last 3. Last 2. Last 1. Okay. Lower the body, rest the hands, stack the hands, rest the head, bend the knees, sway the legs. So we've got 2 left on our front body. This time we're taking the block in our hands for swimming. So swimming is where we have the arms extended out in front of us. As I said, the block is going to be in our hands for the first 3 sets in swimming, and then on our last set we'll be leaving the block on the mat so that we can move the arms a little bit more. So in swimming we are lifting through the upper body for 3 sets. So the chest and arms are going to come off the mat. We're lifting and lowering with our breath again. The legs are going to lift for 3 rounds. We're going to be lifting and lowering through the legs. Then in our 3rd set we're going to be lifting and lowering with the whole body for 3 sets. And then, as I said, the last part we're going to be dropping the block, we're going to be lifting up, and we're going to be adding a little bit of movement. So block in the hands, make sure the body is aligned before we start to lift up. So as we lift the arms over the head, just be careful that we didn't flare the ribs and we didn't lift the shoulders. So keep maintaining that rib dip connection at the front of the body. Keep maintaining the pelvis neutral, still rolling the inner seams of the leggings or the heels in towards the center of your mat. Point the toes or flex the feet. Anything else that I need to remember? No, we're keeping our gaze down towards the mat. As we lift the arms and lift the chest, we're lifting our gaze with it. But remember to keep that neck nice and long. Okay, 3 rounds of the upper body lifting. Take an inhale, exhale, lift. Inhale, exhale, lower. 2 more. Inhale, exhale, lift. Inhale, exhale, lower. 1 more. Inhale, exhale, lift. Inhale, and exhale, lower. Arms stay on the mat. We're using the legs this time. Inhale, exhale, lift the legs. Inhale, exhale, lower. 2 more. Inhale, exhale, lift. Inhale, exhale, lower. 1 more. Inhale, exhale, lift. Inhale, and exhale, lower. Okay, last round. I'm going to give you a little bit of movement after this one. We're lifting arms and legs this time for 3. Inhale, exhale, lift arms and legs. Inhale, exhale, lower. 2 more. Inhale, exhale, lift. Inhale, and exhale, lower. Last one. Inhale, exhale, lift. Inhale, exhale, lower. Okay, drop the block to the side. Maybe take a stack of the hands, maybe a bend of the legs. Just release the body just a little bit before we come into the last part. Okay, as I said at the start of this set, we're lifting the body into that lifted position, and then we start to move opposite arm, opposite leg. I want you to take it nice and slowly. I don't want to see lots of rocking and rolling of the body. We want to control the body. So it's trying to be opposite arm, opposite leg. If that feels confusing, just an arm and a leg moving is good. We're moving with our breath. It's an inhale for 5 and exhale for 5. We're going to do 5 rounds of breath. I'll do the counting of the breath. You just can concentrate on the movement. So we're trying to keep the body as stable as we can as we just alternate the arms and legs. They don't need to come down to touch the mat. We're trying to keep that lifted position. So they're just coming down to a hovering position just above the mat. But keep breathing. All right, let's go. When you're ready, take your inhale, exhale, lift, and then start your gentle movement. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. 3, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. 4, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Slowly let the body come back down. Stack the hands, bend the knees. Whew, take a little breather. All right, sway the hips. Anything else the body is needing. We've just got one last little effort on the mat. Then we're coming up to standing, and I will give you a little child's pose before we come up there. So last little push of effort. We are in a plank and we're doing leg pull here as well. So we did reverse leg pull a minute ago in our reverse plank. So the options for this one are in your full plank or in your forearm plank. Try and bring the pelvis in line with your shoulders, trying to get everything in nice alignment, really pressing your chest away from the mat, whichever version you're in. And then the movement of this one, keeping the body nice and steady, we're just lifting through the heels, and we're going for 8 here as well. All right, so again, we're not trying to get a lot of movement. It's about stability, challenging that stability. If that means that it's just a little lift, that's okay tonight. If you've been here a while and you want to challenge yourself, a little bit more lift, a little bit more stability. We got it? Forearm plank or full plank, whichever is your poison tonight.
Which one's a little more challenging?
Straight arms plank.
So forearm is the modification?
Yes. Yeah. Unfortunately we need the legs long for this one. But if you think you're not able to manage a plank, you with the leg lifts rather, you could just come to a forearm on the knees and just lift the body, engage the belly for the count of 8, if that feels like a better modification for you. All right. Whichever version of plank, if you're doing leg pull, coming up nice and tall, press your chest away from the mat, nice and long with the body, lifting through the legs for 8, 7, keep breathing, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. All right, lower down onto the knees, take the knees nice and wide, the toes together, and we'll come to a child's pose. Sit your body weight back, reach the fingers towards the top of the mat. Or if it feels nicer, if the arms are feeling quite tired, you might like to draw the knees together and wrap the arms down around the legs, bringing the hands down to the feet. Always a nice option too. Whew, that was a lot of work. You guys are doing great. All right. So we're going to finish with a little bit of standing work. Last little bit of challenge, and then we'll start to shake it out, move it out, stretch it out. So whenever you're ready, you can start to make your way to standing. Whew, all the body working very hard tonight. That is what we like about Pilates. All right, we're going to come to the back of the mat, and when we are standing, we're going to bring the feet hip width apart. So we're going to finish the kind of active part of the class with a couple of roll downs, Pilates roll downs. Pilates roll downs are a little bit different to a yoga roll down if you're used to yoga ones. We tend to move with our flat back more in yoga. In Pilates, we're really thinking about articulation of the spine. Sorry for repeating myself for the guys who've been here before, but just to make sure we're all on the same page. So we're doing 2 regular roll downs. I'll demonstrate that now in just a second. And on our third set, we're going to walk our hands out. We're going to do 3 press ups or just a plank hold if you want to for your last count. We're walking the hands back in. I'll do this one in a demo, and then we'll come back up to standing. So I'm going to demonstrate just the last one that we're going to be doing. We're going to be starting here. We're going to be imagining we have a little fence in front of our rib cage. If you want to just watch me for this one, just to make sure we're all on the same page. So you can leave the arms down for a second if you want, because it'll be you'll be doing a lot of extra effort.
I'm just doing it for myself. So.
Okay, no problem. The fence is in front of the rib cage. We're trying to lift our chest and lift our belly up and over that little fence. So we're lifting up, we're scooping the belly, scooping the chest, bending the knees as we come down. This is what we're doing for the 2 rounds, but this is our last round. We're going to walk the hands out, 1, 2, and 3. We're either going to hold our plank or we're coming to 3 press ups, whichever version we want. We could be on the knees for our press ups as well. We're walking the hands back, 1, 2, and 3. We take an inhale at the bottom and we exhale to roll ourselves all the way back up. So 2 regular roll ups and down, and then 1 with the walk out. All right, we're all on the same page?
Yeah.
Yes, great. Okay, feet hip width apart. Take an inhale, take your arms overhead. Bring the rib cage down, relax the shoulders, maybe take 1 more inhale to prepare. And then exhale, dive up and over your fence, scoop the belly, scoop the chest, bend the knees. Hands reach the floor, take an inhale. Exhale, restack the body, keeping the knees bent. We're not working the legs right now, we're thinking about movement of the spine all the way back up to extension. 1 more of those regular ones. Inhale, Exhale, dive up and over your fence. Scoop the belly, scoop the chest, bend the knees. Hands reach the floor, take an inhale. Exhale, restack the body, one vertebrae at a time, restacking all the way up to a full body. Okay, last time, this time with our walkout. Inhale, exhale, dive up and over, scooping through the body, bending the knees. Hands reach the floor, walk out 3 steps. 1, 2, 3. Plank, plank hold, press ups on the knees, wherever you want to be. 3, 2, and 1. Walk back 3 steps. 1, 2, 3. Bend the knees, take an inhale. Exhale, restacking the body all the way back up. Let the arms come back down. Okay, that's all the hard work done. Let's start to get a little bit of stretch out and a loosen out. So take the feet hip width apart again. I'm just sorry, I moved so I back into the center of my mat. We're going to stretch to the side and stretch out the sides of the body first. So take an inhale, take your arms up to prayer. Exhale, lean right. Inhale, back to center. Exhale, lean left. We'll do that one more time each side. Back to the center with your inhale. Exhale, right. Inhale, and exhale to the left. Inhale, back to center. Okay, drop the arms. Maybe a couple of rolls of the shoulders in both directions. All right. We're going to take the legs a little bit wider, the feet a little bit wider. Soften the knees, relax the body. We're just going to sway to look over each shoulder. The arms can be really soft here. Really like to try and shake out as much tension as we can. So trying not to control the breath, trying not to control the body in any way. We can sway as much as feels possible for the body right now, looking over your shoulder as far as feels possible, and just trying to loosen everything out. We create a lot of tension in our body in Pilates, and we need it when we're doing our work, but we don't really want to take it with us. So, last 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay, take yourself back to center. Take a moment if you need to find your gaze. All right, bring the feet back a little narrower, and we're just going to finish with some neck stretches. So we'll turn our chin towards our right shoulder first, stretching the side of the body. Relax the shoulders, relax the chest. Inhale back to center. Exhale, chin to the left. Stretch the side of the neck. We'll do that one more time each side, to the center, to the right. Back to center, and to the left. And back to center. Okay, this one, just thinking about lengthening the back of the neck, and I want you to think about stretching the front of the body and the front of the neck. So taking your chin up towards the chest, but really lengthen up out of the neck. And then drop your chin down towards your chest and think about stretching the back line of the neck. Okay, we're going to do that one more time in both directions, lifting the chin, lengthening up. Dropping the chin down towards your chest and lengthening the back of the neck. Lovely. Chin back towards the center. And then we're dropping our right ear towards our right shoulder. Relax the shoulder, maybe lifting your left hand for a little bit of extra dimension in that one. Ooh. Drop the hand, head back to center. Left ear, left shoulder. Maybe lifting the right hand. Well done. Be careful the shoulder doesn't come to meet the ear. Drop the shoulder down. Okay, back to center. One more time each side. Shoulder to the ear, not shoulder. No, ear to the shoulder, not shoulder to the ear. The other way around. Maybe lifting your left hand. Lower down, back to center, and ear to the shoulder on the left. Maybe lifting your right hand. Okay, back to center. We're just going to actually do some arm stretches, because I actually thought about this one after yesterday's class, and I thought we probably didn't stretch them out enough. We'll just take one hand across our shoulder, or across our chest, pressing the other hand to press the arm against the body. Maybe turning your palm away from you. Maybe you lever that one a little bit more towards the back of the room. Maybe you press the shoulder a little bit back as well. You just get that little action, pressing both ends of the arm. Nice. Okay, release the arm down. We'll take that same arm, bring it above, elbow above the head, and press into that elbow. Try and open through the chest with this one. Sometimes we collapse forward, but we're really trying to open the inside of the arm and the back of the arm. So really press upwards with the body, lengthening through the crown of the head. That's it, lovely. Okay, release that arm back down, and then the other arm across the chest, pressing your elbow towards your shoulder. Press the hand back, press the shoulder back, a little bit of contra balance there. Okay, let that one go, and then bring that hand up, bring the elbow behind the head, reach for that elbow, and again, open through the chest, lengthen through the spine, and get that nice stretch into the back of the arm, the outside of the arm. Very nice. Okay, relax the arms back down. If you want to give last couple of rolls of the shoulders, any last little shakes out of the body or stretches out of the body that feel good. I'm pressing stop on the recording, and then I'm here if you have any other questions. All right, guys.